Hi everyone, welcome back. I figured we're actually quite well on our way into May, and so it was probably time to give you a quick May planner update with everything that I am currently using. You'll notice there's probably a few things that are missing from this, and I will address that. So what I have is my everyday carry. This is my Vanderspec personal size. I have a bullet journal, which I don't think I've shown this to you before, and I have my Erin Condren. It's the 2018. I ordered it January to December. For some reason, October got thrown in too, I think just because of how the pages were put together. This is the colorful version hourly, and I will show you. I think we've talked about this one before, but we'll talk about it again. So let's start with my everyday carry. I mentioned Vanderspec. This is the Tortora Croco with a Barbie Nappa on the inside. I do still have some of my Go Wild stuff in here. I haven't pulled all of it out yet. Probably as many who attended are still reliving some of the fun that we had back there in Austin. So the first section, if you haven't ever seen these videos, is my goals section. So I have first a dashboard that I made that is kind of a vision board. So it represents the things that I'm trying to remember to do. As I'm looking at this, realize I probably should look at this a little more often than I actually do. But I have that here to keep my mind with what I want to do. The next thing I have is my rule of life. Long story short, I'll probably do another video on this because this is related to the Daughters of the King, which is a religious organization that I'm in the process of joining. I'm actually being inducted this weekend. But one of our tasks as we went through the discernment period was coming up with a rule of life, which is split into a rule of prayer and a rule of service. Because that is two things that I am pledging to do, is to pray daily and also to commit to serving the church, the community, that sort of thing. I have a list of my goals for the year, which I probably should double check and see how I'm doing on that. And then I did have a few pages where I broke down the goals. So what the result is, why I want to do it, what my progress goals are, actions and tasks for how I want to accomplish it. And I've repeated that for a couple of the goals. And then I have a few pages in here just in case I want to break down additional goals. Then I also have, just for my reference, the key areas of responsibility for myself at work. So blank pages. I have my review section. So routines. I have just random notes about some of the routines that I do or would like to do. My weekly, evening, and morning routines that I actually probably need to revise because how the order of these are has actually changed quite a bit. I have my master task list. So these are things that happen less often, but I need to remember that they need to be done. Yearly, quarterly, monthly review as far as my planner goes and getting myself ready. Weekly and daily review. I have a checklist for resetting at work. So the things that I do when I've been gone for a little bit to kind of get myself back into the groove of things. And then I have zones from the Fly Lady website that are tailored to my house because there are certain things we don't have. So I took those off. Then we have the calendar section. Now, I used to have a year in pixels sort of a thing that I was going to keep. I wasn't keeping it up, and so I needed the space, so I took it out. I do still have this insert, which probably isn't as updated as I want it to be. This is just keeping track of travel schedules for my family. And then from here, we have months. I do keep the monthly pages in for prior months, even though they've already passed. I just take out the daily pages. And then I have this month, and what I did start doing, and obviously I haven't updated it, but I was enjoying it. I updated it until we went on the trip and I started feeling poorly, and then it kind of fell off the wagon. But what I would like to start doing, because I do use a scale in the morning that actually uploads my weight to the cloud, and it filters to various places. It ends up in Apple Health, but I like having kind of a visual for how I'm doing. So I actually just took some graph paper that I think, yeah, this is graph paper I'd printed out for something else and never used it. So I was going to fill in the weight, like where I start, end weight with a little bit around it, where I'm trying to get for that month. And then I can have a visual representation of how I'm doing. Because sometimes I forget what I weighed 2 or 3 days ago, and I might be like, oh my goodness, I've gained weight, but then I actually haven't. And I know that sounds silly, but I'm a very visual person, hence the reason I keep this. So I will go back and get that filled in at a certain point, but that time is not now. Like I said, I'm just getting to the point where I'm feeling better. So this was the beginning of the month. This was the week where I was like 3 days to being out of state, let's be honest. So I had notes, sticky notes for things I needed to remember to grab. Wednesday was when I basically just stayed home because I felt really horrible. So I had this like film May planner update on May 2nd. Yeah, that didn't happen. This is, I think, the 16th. So, and then I pulled in stickers from the trip. Obviously, I looked to see what we were doing, but I didn't have a lot of notes or anything that I kept. The stickers were from Chrissy Ann Designs. So this was the week where I came back. I didn't get a grocery list or anything completed in here because, let's see, Monday and Tuesday, I still was not feeling very good and I was like the zombie. Wednesday, I was like, okay, I'm going to get myself together. And then my mom had emergency outpatient surgery. So I spent the afternoon dropping her off, picking her up, running around, trying to get prescriptions filled and everything like that. So we happened to be at Target and I off the cuff was like, I need some fresh fruit, some spinach, and I think I picked up 1 or 2 other things. I'm like, that's good enough. It'll get me through the rest of the week. So that's how I ended up doing my grocery shopping. It was not very well planned. I had a few things left in the fridge, and thankfully we have a freezer full of meat, so I was able to make do. All right, so Thursday, this weekend, again, I didn't get a lot done that I had intended to, but we did get some gardening done, so that's good. So this is normally what my week looks like. Granted, I didn't fill out the menu planning part, but I usually do have the grocery list filled out. And actually, I picked those up today. So this is just kind of a running list and I cross things off as I pick them up. So I did want to show you this. This is something that I will do periodically. So I think this is from Simple Stories. I don't know where I got this piece of paper, but it's punched for A5, but I discovered if I fold it in half and pop it in the rings, this actually sticks up. So like when I was out running errands, I could have it this side up. And then now that I'm back at home, I just flipped it around so this side is right side up. But it sticks up so I can find it pretty easily. So it's just a little hack that I've been doing when I have a bunch of stuff I need to do. Granted, I could write it down here, but I was actually, I had a massage appointment this morning. When I was sitting there, I just had this little piece of paper and I was just making notes so that I had everything that I wanted to do later in the day. So these are just my normal inserts. You can see through the end of the week I've put in appointments and my normal routine sorts of things. The rest of this isn't set up. If you are interested, I do have different versions of these inserts. So I have ones that are just with dates. I have ones that have dates and the holidays / fun holidays. And then I have ones that actually have also the readings from, I can't think of the book name. I will actually link it down below. So if you're interested, you can buy that book. But it's basically the liturgical calendar. They're readings and from the church, but they're also explanations about the readings and how they all tie together. So, but I'll link the inserts down below and the book down below as well, so you have access to both of those. Just thinking about inserts in my Etsy store, if you join my Facebook group, this holiday list is actually a free printable. And I do have these, not those monthly inserts, because I bought those, these monthly inserts in my store as well. So these are just blank. They have the days of the month in, but that's it. There isn't anything else written in. So, and I actually pre-plan on these, so I don't think I have an example of a blank one. This is probably as blank as it gets. So take off the stickers, take off the writing, and that's what they look like. And then on the back, it actually has a monthly index. And then the other side is blank. So that way you have a spot if you want to keep track of what happened that month. In the back here, I just have some lined papers for me to future plan. Originally, I only had through, I think, June. And so I had made a page where I was writing things down. And I have one for 2019. I'm actually gonna take these out. These are left over from last month. I'll put some other stuff in. just some random sticky notes and stickers and things that I use periodically. I have my to-do section. Now, just like what I have in the bullet journal, which I'll link the video where I talk about my strike-through lists inside of my bullet journal, I have them also of sorts for my personal planner as well. Now, I do have inserts in my Etsy store. I have not bothered yet to rewrite my to-do list since I created those, but they look generally somewhat like this. They actually just have a built-in square in the upper corner, so you don't have to draw your own. You can just write in the actual name of whatever, or abbreviation for your list up there. So I just have these numbered, so when I decide I want to reference them, I can. Just a bunch of blank back here. I have travel inserts. I have a trip coming up. Well, actually, I have like a semi-trip because I have a local conference, but I'm actually going to be staying in a hotel closer to where that conference is. So I haven't decided if I'm going to use these for that or not, but the week after that, I will be in Austin for the Daughters of the King Triennial, so I will need to use these inserts. These also are available in my Etsy store, so if you're interested, you can grab a copy of them there. I have a packing list, I have a spot for flight information, just general trip information. There's a space for each day. I'll also link the video down below where I talk about all the inserts I have available right now, so that way if you want a closer look at these and want to know what's in them, you can find that information. Back here I have lists. So I have books to read, things I want to watch. I have budget pages as well. This is what the blank page looks like. And this matches my budget that I have inside of YNAB. You Need a Budget. It's a website. It's a paid app, but completely and totally worth it. I get paid about twice a month and every other week, so like twice a year I get an extra paycheck. But I have everything broken down, so when I get paid I flip to this page and I just fill in the standard budget amounts into YNAB, so that's why I have this here, just so I have the information. Pet information insert, which if you've been watching my videos for a while, I still have not put any additional information in here, so I probably should move this someplace else, but you know, someday I'll figure it out. So, and in the back here, I just have a few extra little odds and ends. Nothing much has changed back here. Extra paper, little notes, stuff like that. And this, which I think is left over from a previous month from a Cocoa Daisy kit, but I love it. Everything is figure-outable. Yes, we can figure it all out. So that's my everyday carry and kind of how I'm using it. This goes with me pretty much everywhere. And if you've watched previous videos, I get asked all the time, do I still use the wallet that came with this? Yes, I do. This is so thick that I generally don't have room to carry it all together. If I try, it will fit in there, but I have to really try, and it really stretches out the thing here. All right, so next up, let me talk a little bit about my Erin Condren planner and how I'm using this. So I missed having a weekly overview, something I could just leave at home that was kind of open on my desk. So that's what I actually use this for. So this is just a quick glance at the week, what my appointments are. I obviously have the monthly that I use as well, but it's, I don't know. It gives me a chance to use all the stickers that I haven't been using. So that's pretty much what I'm using it for. So this is this week here. I've finally gotten back into working out. This week I finally felt well enough to even think about working out again. So I started putting my workouts back at the top again. So that's pretty much how I'm using that. I just use it at the beginning of the week to plan what's coming up. I have fun little holidays or fun days of the month up here. These are from Once More with Love. Same thing with a lot of the little characters. And a lot of the other just regular squares are Chrisanne Designs, and I don't remember where I got this. I got that from somewhere online, but I think I saw it on, I think it was Jen Plans initially. It's either her or Jen McIntosh. Don't quote me, because I don't remember, because I've found them a long time ago in a PDF form, and I pulled them into Silhouette and traced around them and got them somewhat cut out okay. So that's what my Erin Condren is. I mean, really and truly, it's not much. This just sits out at I have a little desk in the living room. This just sits out there. That way, if my husband happens to be home and wonders where I am or what's going on, or I don't want to pull out my everyday carry out of my purse, because sometimes I'm lazy like that, this is just sitting out and I can just glance at it and see what's going on. So that's that. like I said, not a whole lot going on with that that's more than what's in my everyday carry. So this is a bullet journal of sorts. It's kind of a, I guess it's my place. I just needed a notebook where I wanted to take notes and play with things. So initially what I created it for was like a travel journal for when I was in New Zealand. So I had some information here. I did some long form journaling aside from what we were doing. Then I had the Daughters of the King discernment period, so I put in all of my study notes in here because we had questions we had to answer. We moved into March. I started keeping track of all the lessons in the discernment meetings we had to go through, personal events I had going on, travel. So this was just kind of like an overview of my month. I created a spread for my Etsy store when I was starting to create that. Obviously, I didn't refer back to it because I didn't check anything off, even though I've done quite a few of these. But this is just kind of things as they come up. So when I was creating my rule of life and I was making notes, I actually pasted the finalized one in here. Continued on with studies. We hit April. So I don't know, it's just a place for me to have, if I'm like, I need to write notes for something. So for the Bible study that I go to, I bring this with me and I have a spot for prayer requests that come up. Here's May again, events that are going on, travel for various things. I still need to get a car for triennial. I need to rent a car. I keep reminding myself of that. When we were at Go Wild, I had this with me and I had all of my table mates fill out their names and their Instagram accounts. I made some notes from Emily Lay's talk and some books that she recommended. So like I said, it's just a place to take notes, and it was a notebook I had kicking around. So I thought, why not? I will, it's one of the flexible covers. It's not super thick, but yeah. The pen I'm using with it is a Tombow drawing pen, a 03, which isn't like a 0.3. I think this is more of like maybe a 0.5, because it's not an exact, this number is not the same equivalent as like the pen equivalents when you buy them in the store. So I think it's a 0.5 equivalent. They have a 0.1, or they have a 0.1, which I think is like a 0.3, and they have a 0.5, which I think is a 0.7. So that is my personal bullet journal / notebook / just things I have to keep notes in. So I do have also, in addition to this at work, something similar, but it's just meeting notes for work. So if I'm in a meeting and I have things I need to do, I will admit I'm super horrible about processing that stuff. That's something I actually need to work on and probably put in my work weekly review, is to glance at that notebook and make sure that I don't have any things I committed to that are lurking inside of there. And then I also have my work bullet journal. So those are the other two planners that I use on a fairly weekly basis. Well, the work bullet journal gets used daily pretty much if I'm at work, and that meeting, the meeting notebook gets used as I have meetings. So that's kind of my May planner update right now. If you are interested in seeing the work bullet journal, I think I mentioned, but I'll link it down below so you can kind of see how that is set up. I don't have it with me right now because I try and leave it at work as much as possible because I don't like bringing work home with me. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!